Yuzam. In this video, I'm going to show you how to subtract integers using a few strategies. Before I show you how to subtract integers, let's recap what are integers. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers. Now, let's look at some numbers. Positive 10. Is it an integer? Yes. Why? Positive 10 is a positive number and it is a whole number. So therefore, it's an integer. Now, 6.75. Is it an integer? No. Why? Although it's positive, it's not a whole number, but only part of a whole number. So that would not be an integer. Now, negative 5. Is that an integer? Yes. Why? Negative 5 is a negative number and a whole number. So it's an integer. Negative and a half. Negative and a half is not an integer. It is a negative number, but not a whole number. It's only part of a whole number, just like 6.75. So it's not an integer. Therefore, integers can be positive and negative numbers, but always whole numbers, not in decimals or fractions. The first strategy that I'm going to show you is modeling. Modeling is the use of positive and negative counters. I'm going to use blue for positive and red for negative. Now, let's look at this problem. 7 minus negative 2. First thing that you need to know is that you can't subtract a negative from a positive. So what we're going to do is make a model. Like said in the problem, there's 7 positive counters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then it says to subtract negative 2. Although I can't subtract negative 2, I'm just going to add 2 negative counters. 1, 2. Like said in the beginning, you can't subtract a negative from a positive. So we need to use zero pairs. Zero pairs is when a negative and the same positive number add up together and equal 0, like negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. So here, what we need to do is to add 2 positive counters. 1, 2. Here I can already see two zero pairs. One here and one here. In the equation, it says to subtract negative 2. So now I can subtract 2 counters. In the end, all of the counters add up to be positive 9. So the answer will be positive 9. The second strategy that we can use in solve subtraction problems is the use of number line. Based on the earlier equation, let me show you how to subtract integers by using the number line. First, you have to draw a number line with some positive numbers on the right and negative numbers on the left. And you have to have the 0 in the middle. So, let's look at this equation. The first factor is a positive. So what we need to do is to go 7 steps in the number line. Because it's a subtraction problem, and the sign is a subtraction sign, we have to go turn it around, face the other direction. The second factor is a negative number. Now, if the second factor is a positive number, then you will walk forwards 2, which explains why 7 minus 2 equals 5. But our second factor is a negative number, so what we need to do is walk backwards 2, which means 7 minus negative 2 equals positive 9. The third strategy to subtract integers is to add the opposite. Based on the same equation, let me show you how to subtract integers by adding the opposite. With this strategy, we will leave the first integer as it is. In this case, it's a positive number, so it will leave as a positive number. As for the subtraction sign, you have to add the opposite, so it will be changed into an addition sign. The second integer has to add the opposites. If the second integer is a positive number, then it will be changed into a negative number. In this case, the second integer is a negative number, so we need to change it into a positive number. In the end, the equation will be read as 7 plus positive 2, and that will equal positive 9. Let me show you how to solve another subtraction problem. This time, I will illustrate using all the 3 strategies. In this example, we have negative 5 minus positive 3. The first strategy that I'm going to use is modeling. Like said in the problem, it says to draw 5 negative counters. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then it says to subtract 3. But right now, I can't subtract 3, so I'm going to add 3 positive counters. 1, 2, and 3. Now we have to make 0 pairs. Here it says to make 3 0 pairs. So I'm going to add 3 negative counters. Here I can already see 3 0 pairs. 1 here, 1 here, and the third one here. Then it says to subtract 3 positive counters. So I'm going to cross out 3 positive counters. In the end, it all adds up and it leaves negative 8 counters. So the answer to negative 5 minus 3 is negative 8. Now, the second strategy that we're going to use is number line. Now, remember that we have to always start at 0 and always face the positive direction. In the equation, it says to go backwards 5, since it's a negative number. So we'll go backwards all the way to negative 5, still pointing in the positive direction. Then it says the subtraction sign. Subtraction sign means to rotate and to face the other direction, which now is to face the negative side. Then it says positive 3. When the second integer is a positive, we would always go forward. Now we have to go forward 3. 1, 2, 3. Now the answer to negative 5 minus 3 is 8. The last and third strategy that we're going to use is to add the opposite. Remember that the first integer has to stay the same. In this case, negative 5 has to stay as negative 5. However, for the subtraction sign, we have to change it to an addition sign because we have to add the opposite. For the second integer, which is positive 3, we have to add the opposite and change it into a negative 3 since it's a positive number. So altogether, it will be negative 5 plus negative 3, which equals to negative 8. According to all these strategies, negative 5 minus 3 equals negative 8. Let's solve another subtraction equation. In this example, we have negative 6 minus negative 2. The first strategy that we're going to use is modeling. In the equation, it says to add 6 negative counters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then it says to subtract 2 negative counters. Now we can do that. 1, 2. So in the end, the answer would be negative 4. Now, the second strategy that we're going to use is a number line. It says here in the equation to move backward 6 since it's a negative number. So we have to move backward 6, still pointing to the positive direction. Then it says to subtract, so we have to flip our direction and look the other way around, towards the negative direction. The second integer says negative 2, so we have to go backwards 2. 1, 2. The answer would be negative 4. The third and last strategy that we're going to use is to add the opposites. Negative 6 minus negative 2 equals. Now, we have to add the opposites. In this equation, we don't really have to use this strategy because when we subtract 6 and minus 2, that gives us 4. But in here is negative numbers with a negative sign. So what we have to do is subtract 6 minus 2, which equals 4, and add the negative sign, which is negative 4. Overall, and according to all these strategies, negative 6 minus negative 2 equals negative 4. Thank you for watching my video. I hope I have made you understand better how to use modeling or number line or adding the opposite to subtract integers. My personal favorite is the number line. How about yours?